This has been a pirate production.
Yo, it's all love, man. Yes, indeed. I know my wife was in here messing up some things. I had to fix a few things back away. I always tell them when they come over here, don't touch anything, man. Come on,
Right.
man.
I understand. I got a wife, kids, so man, I
Yes,
understand.
indeed. All my kids are out of here now. I keep my grandson up out of here, but it's all love.
I got four littles in the house, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey man, but I will say, man, one of the best things in the world, man, watching them grow. And I always say growing, growing, grown. And man, and then when they leave you, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, when they leave you, it's just like you really miss them, man. Especially if you spend a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
time together. Yeah, indeed.
The hardest, but yet the best rewarding, man.
Of course, of course, of course.
Right, man. Today I got Mr. Lord Nelson, former
Yeah,
Stuck Mojo, and just recently Plastic Catastrophe, which I checked out last night.
yeah.
Love it.
Thank you, bro.
Absolutely, man. Um, it was everything I'd hoped for.
Right.
And I've just recently started watching your podcast
Hey man, thank you.
and your association with what Five Royals.
Five Rose ENT, man, that's my company actually. And
Okay.
yeah. So just my LLC and me doing my thing. Indeed.
Okay. I was making sure on that, man, because I was like,
Yeah,
man, he's all over this.
yeah, man. I'm just handling my business.
Homegrown bands, right? Pretty much.
Yes, actually, the Plastic Catastrophe, Mr. Matt Acevedo, I call him MMA, the magnificent Matt Acevedo. It's my brother, man. We got together. He's a fan of Stuck Mojo, and he actually just sent me some music one time. He asked me through Facebook. He was just like, "Hey, would you mind me sending you some music?" And I was just like, "Of course." I was open to it most definitely. So he sent the song, and he said that I didn't get back with him. Now, I don't know if I was doing my Lord Nelson featuring Lies at the time. I'm not sure if that's what was going on, but for me not to get back with him was kind of odd. And so his beautiful wife, Carmen, was like, hey, get back in touch with them and send them something else. And
Right.
so he did. He sent me something else. And that was the song Action off of the Firestarters album. And he
Okay.
sent that to me. I wrote that immediately. And then after that, man, the songs just started coming. He just started sending me music, and we just clicked. Just like was Rich Ward and myself clicking on with music, or
Okay.
yeah,
That was one of the first things I thought when I heard it. I
yeah,
said, he's back on it, man. I was just like, right. I started listening to it, and I had that feel I had when I listened to Southern Born Killers.
right.
You know, oh man, the Great Revival. So I mean, I love it. You got them both back there.
I got him back there. Thanks to Scott Bowling, who had me on his show. He had printed those up for me, man. And I just, he was just like, would you like to take them? I said, of course, man. It's going to add to my ambiance for my podcast. It's going to make it more. So, yes, indeed.
That's awesome. Yeah, uh, you talked to Rich a few times on there about to get him on here. Hopefully, one point. I know he's been Guardians of the Jukebox here lately, back in Georgia. He's like, you
Yeah.
need to come back to Georgia. I'm like, man, I'm back at Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
But you're located in what, South Carolina?
I'm
No?
in South Carolina. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm actually from South Carolina. I was born in Charleston. Didn't spend a lot of time there. My father is military, and so I know
Cool.
you said Fort Benning, Georgia. We did spend about 5 years there.
Oh,
Still,
yeah.
as a kid, some of my most memorable times. It's always like a time machine. It's like back in those '70s. I'm an older guy, so back in those '70s, it was like every time I hear that music, it's a time machine for me. I'm right back there, on Booton Hill. I don't even know if it's still there. I was in Macon
I
not too
was on
long
Kelly
ago.
Hill.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was
Hill.
Booton Hill, Robinson Court. I remember
Oh, yeah.
Doan. I remember. Listen, Doan's Loop. All those things I remember, man. Just as a kid, man, it was like some of the greatest times of my life, man. Indeed.
Well, I said that's one of the reasons I'm most humble with you being on this show is
Yes.
because you are part of my pastime at Fort Benning. Believe it or
Oh,
not,
really? Yeah.
the two albums I carried on my first tour to Iraq
Uh-huh.
was was Southern Born Killers and The Great Revival.
Oh man, it's all I got goosebumps from it, man. Thank you, man. Thank you.
When Home, in particular,
Yes.
was the song I listened to
Woo.
on the way back from Baja.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I introduced a lot of my friends to Stuck Mojo.
Yes.
Of course, at that time, no disrespect to other bands or whatever, but you had a lot of, more divisive music about the
Mm-hmm.
war, everything.
Right.
And at the time, man, I'd lost a love for hip hop and stuff at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I just
Right.
wasn't into the new stuff. And
Right.
I'll tell you, I went to, I believe, a Best Buy or something. I saw the Great Revival.
Right.
I actually got that one first. I
Mm-hmm.
saw it right up there, and I said, "Wait a minute, that ain't the singer I remember from the
Right.
Mojo," because that's all I've been listening to. I said,
Yes.
"This must be a new thing." Popped it in. Like I said, still CD. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I started driving me from there, and it just become my little anthem, man. And I was like, I'm American. It got me
Right.
pumped to do what I was doing again.
Yes.
And man, and even my wife at the time, my second wife, she would listen to it
Mm-hmm.
when I was over there. So, and she's like, that country road song they redid and stuff like that. It's like, so yeah, uh, I've heard you talk a little bit about them on the interviews before,
Right.
but specifically not the songs. And I just think the Great Revival in particular was very underappreciated album. Now,
I agree with you. I
yeah,
agree with you. Whatever
I
you
heard
said.
that Rich probably had a concept. He wrote most of it,
Mm-hmm.
but it seemed like musically, you really, you just had that Lord Nelson thing come out really on that album.
Right. Indeed. Yes. So Rich had an idea of what he wanted to do, and actually, while we were touring here in the States, I wrote a lot of my lyrics while on tour, and we even recorded some of the songs on tour, and we just had a good time. Rich and I have always connected. He had an idea of what he wanted to do. I believe it came out exactly how he wanted it to be. It wasn't received as well with the real metalheads. They were just like, well, we want this, and we could have done that. We could have done all of that. It wasn't going to be a hard thing, but I was riding and rolling with him. I'm just like, hey man, whatever you want to do, I'm with it, man. You are an amazing musician. I enjoy this. It's easy for us when we work together. So he was just like, hey, I want to do this. So I was like, okay, I'm writing this. I wrote this. So I just did my usual.
Right.
I wrote my lyrics, and he had the amazing music, and everything just turned out beautifully. And I still listen to both. I still listen to both of those albums. They stay in my playlist, and I enjoy them. And I know it's me, and it's not arrogance or anything like that. It's just great music to me. Yes, yes, indeed.
Well, yeah, like I said, I'm glad you have the recognition to it because like just hearing it, man, it's just like amazing albums. Like I said, I started with some of the Stuck Mojo stuff from earlier, and it's
Right.
get me pumped,
Yes.
bonds, man. And then you had this other side of Stuck Mojo. It's like y'all both created the mold that is Stuck Mojo.
Well, thank you, man.
In your concept, man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when you agreed to do this interview, man, I was like, oh, after I told my wife, I said, I got Lord Nelson, man.
See, I'm so I am very humbled about stuff like that. When you speak about Bones, Bones and I went to school together, graduated together, high school, and once again, there's no replacing him. Like I like to really let people know, I just filled in for him for a moment, and he's an amazing artist, and his energy level is no one's getting up there doing what he does. I'm a big guy. I was 6'5", 280. I was probably 300 at the time. It's just like, man, I can't get out there and do the things that he's doing. And I just went out there and I just did Lord Nelson. I just did me. I wasn't trying to be Bones. And Rich, with his talent, he just really took the music and he molded it more toward my voice. Bones and I are, I'm the big guy, but my voice is probably as Rich. I always like the comparison Rich said. Rich said, your voice is like a Ferrari. He said, we got to tune it a little bit, take it take better care of it like that. He said Bones is just like a big dump truck, you know, it just goes in there, just runs over everything. And I always laughed at that. But yeah, Bones and I, you know, we still stay in touch. That's my brother for life. I love him. And yeah, man, everything's beautiful. And I'm just thankful and grateful I had the opportunity to do 2 albums with them. You know, it allowed me, it gave me a platform to continue to build on the things that I was doing. So it's a beautiful thing, man.
And then afterward, it seemed like you moved on. And I remember that was the French band Lies.
Right, Lies. And so that my logo right there is that when I got with Lies. And yeah, Lies actually they toured with us with Stuck Mojo and Lies and a band called Black Swan. And we just had a great time time on tour. And Sebastian hit me up. And at that time I was, you know, wanting to do singles and just do some other things. And Sebastian hit me up and said, would I hop on a song with them? And we had formed such a great relationship on tour, and which I do with most of the people that I tour with.
Right.
I'm easy breezy, man. And we just had a great time. And he said, hey, let's do a song. So he sent me some music. So I was just like, okay. So I wrote to it immediately. And I sent it back to him. And he was just like, wow. You know, it's the song Fight that we did off the album.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's just like, yeah, man. Why don't we just do an album with you? And I was just like, he's like, why don't we do your album? And I was like, oh, are you serious? He's like, yeah. Well, I was looking for production like that, but then having somebody who I knew, I said, of course. So he started
right in there, man.
Oh man. So just like Rich Ward and just like Matt Acevedo, Sebastian is so talented. And he just started sending me music, and I just started writing. And man, we had so many songs. And the next thing you know, had a deal with M&O Music, and here we boom, Fight, My Struggle Between Heaven and Hell. It's an album out, and man, it was just, I said Fight is what's the title out, but Until I Die was the song because we had a video with that.
Right.
And Until I Die, which was an amazing time, flew me to France. Vincent Giorgetti, amazing director. He shot the video. Man, I had a great time. Man, I just enjoyed France. It was awesome, man. It was
awesome,
man. Yeah.
Flew over France. Never been there, man, but I imagine
beautiful. Yeah, beautiful place. Yeah, indeed.
And then you now how long have you been doing the podcasting?
I started actually with my son during, you know, everybody was doing things during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so my son, I had a friend named Rodney Love many years ago when podcasting first started. I mean, from the inception of podcasting way back when. He was just like, you love to run your mouth, man. He said, you would be a great podcast. And I was just like, podcast? What are you talking about? You know, I wasn't so computer literate at the time. You know, I was just like, hey, man, I said, I'm trying to be an artist. I'm trying to be you know, this is what I'm. He's like, no, man, I'm telling you, you would be an amazing. So he went and actually bought me some podcast books. I still have them. And you know what? I never, and this is years ago, I never read them. I was just like, I'd always look at them if I was moving something or whatever. And I was like, it just wasn't me at the time. And then boom, it just happens. And then, yeah. And then I was just like, let me get out here. And I asked my son, I was just like, hey, would you like to do something? And so we created the Going In podcast. And so my son, he's busy. He lives down in Atlanta. He's, you know, he played a little pro basketball in Iceland. And he was just doing his thing. And so I was just like, hey, man, I said, I'm getting these people, I'm doing this, and I need you to do your part on this like this. But he was so busy. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? Let me just focus on what I do. And so I said, let me focus on creating Live and Loud with the Lord. And so I created Live and Loud with the Lord, and it's just been rolling. I interviewed Joshua Toomey, who's another great podcaster. Talk to me. Josh, a great guy. So Josh said, like, hey, there's this guy named Chris. He's a big fan of Stuck Mojo. He's a big fan of yours. And I was just like, really? He's like, yeah, Chris Aiken. And he has his podcast and everything like that. And I was just like, he's like, you need to get in touch with him. So he gave me, you know, numbers, exchange numbers. Chris got in touch with me. And here we are just having a conversation. I said, Chris, I'd love to have you on my podcast. And he was just like, of course, Lord knows, of course I'd be on there. And Chris is, man, Chris, another military guy now, Chris. Military.
Oh, yeah. And
yeah. You know Chris?
I don't know him.
You know of Chris. You know of you.
Him. Yeah. I think it's cool, man. Especially for military guys getting on
yes.
and stuff right now. I'm getting one of my old battle buddies from Fort Benning on.
Uh-huh.
She's going to be on next month. She was one of the medics over there. So
Really?
yeah, um, he said this thing started to snowball. So I understand what you're talking about on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
podcast thing.
Right.
My first interview on this new format was Courtney Gaines, Malachi. Children.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. So you're my second. You, Courtney, and then So yeah, he was my first interview, man. I'm doing
Yeah.
for him right now. So
Awesome.
man, it just started snowballing.
Right.
I tried to read like you were talking about.
Uh-huh.
Read the book, look it up. You know what I'm saying on
Uh-huh.
podcasts. You gotta let it come natural,
Right,
like
indeed.
music. So
Yeah, man. No, beautiful thing, man. And I'm just thankful to Chris because after our podcast or after me having the conversation, because I always like to say I'm having conversations, and Chris and I we just clicked, and then he hit me up and he asked me. He said, "Hey, would you like to join my podcast network?" And I was just like, "Well, let me think." He said, "Let me show you what's going on. Let me." But I was just like, "Of course, man. To get out in a bigger audience and so it's just been magnificent. I'm enjoying myself, and I'm excited. And just like when people hit me up and they were like, "Hey, they want to have a conversation with me," I'm excited about it. I'm genuinely excited about it. It's there's nothing fake about me. This is who I am. And once I really started doing the live and loud with the Lord, it all just came out, man. It was just like, now this is me. I'm going to be me, genuinely, authentically, and I'm just going to have a ball. So I have a good time, man. It's what it is.
that's what I see. I got another picture of you on there, and
Yeah.
it's from the Great Revival, and you're
Uh-huh.
doing that is, I was like, that is so him. I said, I can hear that picture.
Oh man.
I feel the darkness all around me, something like that. And dude,
Hey man.
they're here, man. They stay
Yeah.
here. And it's like, um, yeah, my kids, I was trying to tell them, after I did my first show, you were talking about the podcast and your kids
Right.
are always proud of you for doing stuff like this. For some reason, YouTube, all this stuff,
Yes.
And my kid came up to me the other day, goes, "Dad, I'm so proud of you."
That's awesome.
I've never heard that before. And I'm like, "Son, are you talking about my military service?" "No, you're a YouTuber." I'm like, "Well, I was like, man, it's a huge deal to these kids, man. YouTuber.
Oh, 100%. 100%. No, you're doing your thing, man, and getting that validation. I always tell people, man, I got to a point to where I wasn't worried about, some of them took it personal. I just looked at some of my friends. I said, really? I said, you guys liking what I do is just the icing on the cake. I said, that's love. I said, but I want people that I'm really going to touch that really, get what I'm doing and aren't judging me already because they know me. Because, a lot of times with your with your friends and family, they'll look at you like, yeah, I know you, so what is it about? They're not even really getting that message that you're trying to give to people. So that's a different thing. But my children, I know my three babies. I have a older daughter, and then I have twins, a boy and a girl, and they have always supported me, and my wife also just supported me. But I've always told everybody, I'm not worried about you guys. I thank you guys, but here it is. I'm not worried. I am thankful for human beings like you who come and give love, and I possibly have touched and meant something to. That means something to me. I am an empath, and when I receive that love, I definitely reciprocate it. And I'm just thankful for all the people around the world. I'm thankful to Stuck Mojo for the people that I've met in my life, through music, because music is something that's beyond the norm, and I love it. And once again, I can sit here and just continue to talk. So
man, and dude, listening to your music, I said, I got an idea what this guy's like. I got an idea. I'm gonna see. And that was part of the thing too. I was like, let's see if Lord Nelson that I know.
Right.
And it's like, dude, you're talking about the family and stuff. See, the song "The Flood" came to mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Dolphins don't deserve me, dude. I'm telling you, I got Lord Nelson stuff up here. It's stuck, dude.
It's so wild that you say that, because I remember my wife, when she listened to it, she was just like, really? But the deal was is that, hey man, you know, some of the conversations we have, we've been together a long time, man. And sometimes, you know, some of those things that are said, and I'm just like, is that how you really feel? You gonna talk to me like that? But you know, it's all love though.
Is that what Here Comes a Flood? Is that when she's mad at you? I mean,
oh my goodness,
metaphor,
man.
metaphor.
Yeah, man. Yeah, listen, so you know, when Rich came up with the idea, just speaking about it, and then you know, he just like, just do you, just do what you do, man. And when I started writing it, that's where my mind was, you know, and I was just like, yeah. It's just from my perspective, you know, when you write at certain times, you're going through things like that whole Fight album.
Yeah,
I was going through some things, you know,
right.
relationship wise and whatever, and I'm sure you understand, and just, you know, getting back on track like I needed to be. And so it's a start, and it's in an ending, and how we put it, man. And so yeah, it's love, man. And then we also had you know, the Back on the Road album. I don't know if you heard that. Sebastian and I from Lies. We did that together as Lord Nelson and Seb L. Yeah. Yeah, we did that, and I had my wife on it. We just did kind of like skits. It was another, you know, with a theme, and we went through and did it. Sebastian wanted to do that. I was like, Sebastian, it's all love, man. So yeah, man, it just busy. No Power, No Crown. I did an album. I'm going to send you some of this other stuff. No Power, No Crown with my boy Steve.
Yes, please do that. Like I said,
Yeah,
you're gonna cram some more Lord Nelson up there.
yeah. I want to flood so much stuff to you, but No Power, No Crown was a great thing. Steve was actually our sound guy for Stuck Mojo.
Mm-hmm.
And I never knew that he played guitar and everything. And then he just hit me up one day. He's like, hey man, would you like to jump on a song? And I said, of course, you're Steve, man. What are you talking about? You're Big Dirty. You know, I call him Big Steve. We had Big Steve and Little Steve. Little Steve was the drummer, Nails. When I was, you know, he was with Stuck Mojo for a little while also. One of the most talented drummers in the world, Nails, Steve. Love him. That was my brother. We hung out every night on tour. So we had a really had a great time. But yeah, Big Steve and the No Power, No Crown was a nice time. It kept me out there doing shows and on the stage and having a ball. And then every guy that was in there, Steve and Justin and Jeff and Cap and Jackson and Looney and Matt. So we had just so many parts coming in and out. And Cubby, may he rest in peace, that passed. It was just a great time, man, of getting on stage and having a ball with guys who love music like I love music. You know,
Yeah.
those guys were something else, man. They made me laugh all the time. And Justin's actually in a great band. And now why is it escaping me? Justin, I'm sorry. He's in a great, starts with a V, but they are so great and hardcore. They're really good.
Right.
And but yeah, man, I've had a great time. Music has done so much for me, man. I am thankful, and once again, thankful and grateful to be here and enjoying this moment. We are the moment right now. We're not in the moment. Yeah. We are the moment, and I'm just enjoying it. Yes, indeed.
And you like a wide variety. What I'm seeing on Five Royals is variety. That's what I like, man.
Yeah, I'm a military kid, man. So you know how you know
everything's a culture shock.
Yeah, everything is there. So it's like, you know, I've listened to country music. I've listened to everything. I mean, I don't care if it's classical or whatever. And my brother's a DJ. He played music forever. And, you know, we always had music in the house. My mom and dad listened to everything, man. And it's just music. And so I love it. Music does something to me that nothing else does to me. I always say it's a time machine. If I hear something, you don't know how many times I hear music from the 70s. I'm back on Fort Benning, Georgia. I am at this swimming pool with my brother, or we're walking, you know, trying to cut grass and just, man, listen, it takes me back.
The Georgia heat, man. Woo!
Man, listen, I have some of I'm telling you, just it makes me feel so good, man. I just say it does. Oh my goodness. Music, man. Music.
That's good stuff. And speaking of variety, I mean, you said you listened to it all since the 70s. Now, there's something I've watched some of your interviews. We always talked about the albums.
Right.
Style is something I've always been curious about because, like I said, I didn't get back into hip hop quite till I started listening to Stuck Mojo.
Right.
You reminded me of that angst and everything of Public Enemy,
of course.
Run DMC. You had the Run DMC thing going.
Right.
and there was two people always identified. You probably like this since you like variety.
Mhm.
You and Cowboy Troy have a similar demeanor.
I got you.
Okay, y'all.
I
It's
just
a
I
similar.
just don't wear the hat. I just don't wear the hat, but we're
Yeah,
good.
you ain't doing the hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But y'all had this, and y'all both huge, man. Y'all tall.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
me standing, I'm 5'5". All right, I'd be like big guy, little man. You know, so.
Man, listen, when you say that, I definitely grew up on Run DMC.
Mhm.
I think my wife, she's gotten Russell Simmons, who, managed them, a few times to wish me a happy birthday. And it's been amazing because, I've always looked at him in a certain way. Loved Run DMC. And just the fact that my brother had all these records being a DJ, and he's a little bit older than me, but he always used to, sneak me in the club with him. He only wanted me to carry speakers though, when
Right,
or
right on.
carry all the crates of records. You know what I'm saying? So, but we had everything, and so I would go to different kind of parties and events that he would do, and it would not just be hip hop and R&B stuff. It would be rock shows and whatever like that because he had that music because he was that talented just because he loved music like I love music. And so, yes, Run DMC, love Run DMC. And then when I have so let me say this. Run DMC came to South Carolina, and my brother, this guy he was working with, they brought him down. They were a promotion team. They brought him down. And so I got to meet them up close and personal. And, Jam Master Jay, may you rest in peace. And I just remember just being there, seeing Run DMC and the group Nucleus, who I had Cosmo D actually on on one of my shows on an episode. And Cosmo and I had a great time. And of course, um, my man Doc Ice from UTFO, and then Raheem from Grandmaster. Anyway, man, I can just keep going. I'm so
Oh,
thankful,
yeah,
man.
man.
Thankful.
Go
I'm
ahead,
thankful.
man. Go
No,
ahead.
no, 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 no. It's just amazing. And Corey Lowry, plays with Seether now. My brother,
Oh, yeah.
man, used to play with Stuck Mojo. Corey's so great. But anyway, Run DMC had a great time loving and looking at them and seeing them. And one thing, let me say, Cosmo D said, he said, "Listen, man, I want you guys to know." He was telling me and my best friend, who's like a brother to me, Greg Cornegay. He told me, he said, "I'm not better than you guys. I might just have more money than you are, but I'm not better than you." And when he said that to some younger guys, and we were just a little bit younger than him, it it really struck something with us
Right.
because I'll never forget that. And the way that I look at life and the way that I look at people. I don't care if you're a billionaire, if you don't listen. There's nobody better than me. I don't think that I'm better than everybody else. I just know that I just want to be a great human being, as my man Relentless and Hell B from Vengeance. They were just like, we just need more great human beings in this world. We have a lack of that. Just being a good human being is a good thing. But anyway, I'm everywhere, my brother. But so you
Good.
said
You're
Run
good.
DMC. You said Run DMC. Yes, indeed. Public Enemy. Man, when I got out of high school, man, and my roommate Richard Thomas, man, I can remember him bringing that Public Enemy, the first album. And it's just like, yo, man, it's Yo Bum Rush the Show, man. What the man? We played. Oh my goodness! It was just like, it was life changing. It was just the subject matter and the sonics of it. The sounds were just different, and it was just strong. And Chuck's rap delivery,
Punchy.
vocally, the tone of it is alike, but I have a better flow than Chuck, and that's no disrespect to him. I am big on flow.
You
Chuck
got a great
Chuck
that.
Chuck's thing is, and he says it, is like you think he's freestyling, even though he's written it because it's here, there. But the impact that he had with that voice of his and the subject matter was just something that is timeless. And I still listen to some. When I used to go to basketball games, I used to play that to get pumped up, man. So yes, indeed. When you say that, you are 100% correct. Great observation. Yes, indeed.
I
Because
got ears.
I
I'm a
yeah.
musician, so I got ears. So,
Yes,
uh,
indeed.
I play guitar, sing. So
Ah,
that's what I've been doing. So,
yeah. I got my guitar over there that Matt and he and his wife, they gifted to me for my birthday. Not last year, year before last year. But made the big guy cry. And actually, I was in here practicing last night. I'm just working. I was like, man, playing guitar is not an easy thing. It's, you got to really give it time. But last night or early this morning, I was just doing some things, going through some lessons, and I'm
Right.
doing my best to get better, man. It's all love.
It's all love, man. I like that saying too. It's all love. That's
Yes, sir.
another
Yes,
one.
sir.
I'm gonna take there. But another thing I want to tell you,
Uh-huh.
I do Funko Pops right here.
Okay.
And here's the way I'm probably gonna do this.
Uh-huh.
Probably start with this show. Everybody guests I have on here, we make custom Funko Pops. I want to make a custom Funko Pop for everybody on the show that comes on my show. I want a Lord Nelson next.
Let me say this to you, and see, now I got goosebumps again. I I am a big person on signs, and when I see things, and let me tell you something. So yesterday, my man Ed Aborn, who man, what's Ed's band that he plays in? He knows Rich very well. He's a great dude. I call him EA Sports. Great guy. When I first got with Stuck Mojo, he was there. He helped write some of Open Season, and great dude. And so I saw him with one of these. And I asked him, I said, man, where'd you get that, man? I said, I need to have a Lord Nelson one or whatever like that. And listen, that was just yesterday. Bro, do you know how crazy that is? That was just yesterday. And so he had sent me the link or whatever like that. And here we are. I'm telling you, man.
Maybe. I don't know. I
signs, man. Signs.
Already, man. I don't know what's going on here, bro. So
oh my goodness, love, man.
Yeah, love, man. But I started to think about that. I was like, well, when me and Courtney on here, we do this Malachi and Hans character from the Burbs, right?
Right.
He was all up for it. He's got the 40th coming up. And it's like, okay. He said, we'll talk business.
Hey, man.
And I was like, good interview. I was like, you know what? I need to start making one for every one of them.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah, because not everybody gets a Funko Pop. And there's some huge names out there. They don't even make a Funko Pop for too as well.
Right.
Like, man. So I'm like, what would it be like to have your own custom Funko Pop?
I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. I'm telling you, man, it's a great sign, man. Oh, man, thank you.
I always wanted to see one, man. I was like, and if Rich gets on here, man, I'm gonna be like, Rich, you know, a crazy Rich kick or something. It's like, yeah.
Indeed. Oh my goodness, man! Awesome, man. I always enjoy.
You're in good spirits today, man. I felt good about today. I was like, yep, it's gonna be a good interview.
I've been looking forward to it, man. Once again, I thank you. I've been looking forward to it. I enjoy when people would like to speak to me, and even when we were on tour, I always wanted to get out there and have conversations with the masses, with the fans. I like to call them family, because when I talk to them, they really become that. I've met so many great people on tour that I am still close with today. We still have conversations. Thank God for the internet and social media. Because
of all the bad things, it's also hugely awesome.
Yes.
You finally get these type of connections you wouldn't have got before.
Amazing, man. There's so many people in England and Germany, and I can just start running down the names of, Pierre, and that's one of my guys, man. Pierre Heinemann, as they call him, the crazy barber. He's actually a hairstylist, and he does what is it? Klaus for the Scorpions. He does Klaus. He does. He takes care of Klaus, man. And so it's just like, oh man, it's all love, man. Everything is beautiful, man. I'm thankful for you.
Over here again.
Man, you're a military dude, man. In the foxhole, man. That like that. Brush that off.
I'm over here having Mike Pence moments. I got flies going around. So. That was not a political statement. Just want to let y'all know. I strive to keep mine non-political, all these other things. So it's like we stick to the music, movies. So when I say something like that, it's about to fly. So there you go.
Hey, man. It's all I believe the same thing, not unless people go into it. It's nothing that I bring up. I stay away from religion and not unless they want to talk about it. My guests, they can talk about whatever they want to. It's an open format. We're not holding nothing back. And that's one good thing about being on the.
I'm a proud Catholic. So
yeah. No, listen, there's no doubt, man. There's people that don't believe in God. Okay, you have every right to. This is America.
Oh, yeah, man.
I know what I believe in.
Yeah,
I believe in God. I don't apologize about it. And I just had Jennifer Benson actually on my podcast is one that's airing right now,
Mm-hmm.
and she is from the band Ignescent, and they just released a new video and a new single, and they just have a label deal with Frontiers Music SRL, and she is 100% that young lady, Christian, but she's rock, she's metal, she's that, and
Yeah.
you won't even, and she's amazing, you know. And so I've had her on my show twice, and we just had a great time. Her manager, who used to be my manager, also Keith Netto, amazing guy. Listen, man, I just meet so many people through music, man. It's just the best thing in the world, man, and I just enjoy
Jeez, man.
myself. And when I say that I'm enjoying myself right now, I'm enjoying myself right now, man. It's a
Right
real deal.
on.
Good.
Yeah, man. Now you're known with the crossover thing. I know it's a hard music for some people to digest.
Uh-huh.
Crossover.
Uh-huh.
You got the intersecting stuff, kind of like Limp Bizkit, Corn. It's kind
Right.
of more, it's more digestible.
Mm-hmm.
But when Stuck Mojo, things like that come about, and we still got the crossover feed,
Mm-hmm.
rap and metal, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Yeah, I mean, I know you going around Fort Benning, okay? You got Columbus, man. You got
Mm-hmm.
mainly the hip hop crowd right there, right?
Right.
But then, like when I lived in Washington, you got the rock crowd.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for both of them to digest when you say about doing both.
Right, 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 right.
You know, I'm wondering how that has impacted your career. I'm just wondering, like, it's like, do you, when you get around the hip hop guys, you know, and then they hear the rock part, I mean, did you open up their minds up to something different and vice versa?
I'm gonna tell you something. That is when people say that's a great question, that is an amazingly great question. I want you to know that. I don't even think that anybody's really asked me that question in that sense, in that context. Um, I've been around some people that I've had that I know that are some of my friends that have grown up with me also, and
Mm-hmm.
it kind of, they're taking it back. They're kind of like, wow, okay, and they probably wouldn't have listened to this or
Right.
whatever. And I'm just saying to them, like, hey, man, you got to give everything an opportunity. I can't make them do that. They might have given it some listen because it's me and they know me, but they know me. So it's just like,
Right.
okay. But me, when I came into it, I was so wide open, and growing up like I've grown up, I never even thought about it. It's just music to me. And until people said things, I'm looking at them like, what are you talking about? And they're just like, well, how can you just go being this guy and then go into this? And I'm just like, I never even thought about that. It boggled my mind that people were even thinking that way. And maybe I've been sheltered. I'm a
Right.
military kid, but it just bothered me that they were letting such a thing bother them. And I'm like, I don't care what you guys think. This music is all that matters to me. And I said, I love it. I don't care if you love it or not.
Right.
It doesn't even matter to me. I said, I'm going to go out here and do what I do to the best of my ability. Let the chips fall where they may, and that's it. And I don't care if you're a rock dude, if you're a rap dude, R&B, country, classical, gospel, whatever. I can do it all, and it doesn't matter. So all of that music affects me. So I don't care what you say. You can be a genre snob if you want to. I'm not a genre snob. And
Right.
I have my little saying. I'll have my no genre snobbing t-shirts coming out very soon. And
Oh, my
yeah, I got you.
get
I
in my
got
way.
you. I got you. It's so
Don
and yeah, and I have the definition for it and everything. It's just who I am. I am that guy who loves first. I don't judge first. Now I can clown with the best of them and do all those things, but I walk forward in faith, and I come to you with a good spirit. Excuse me, unless you let me know it's something else. Then I can, pivot and do something else because you're over here doing it right. So I'm not worried about all that. Was a really great question, man. And I haven't worried about what people are going to think. The
Right.
older I've gotten, the less their opinions
I'm just
mean.
wondering if you've had that, that.
Yes. You've had some things where people are like, we were on tour with Volbeat. I like to tell this. It's two instances. We were on tour with Volbeat and Ectomorph.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Michael and all the guys, man. Still, just great. That tour was an amazing tour. Every song, every show was sold out. We had a ball on that tour with Volbeat.
Their formula, just by the way, I know you said their formula is perfect, man. Their music
Yes,
formula,
yes,
they're one of those
yes.
that don't have to branch out as much, but it's just so damn great, you
They
know.
they they grab you. They do. And Michael is such an amazing to hear him warm up every night for a full month and just I was just like, yo. But the biggest the best thing when we were touring with them, we the last show was in Augsburg, excuse me, not Augsburg. Oh my goodness. It was in Germany. I can't even believe I'm forgetting this.
What this? It's Germany.
Wasn't the best. It was in Germany, and so it'll come to me though. So it was in Germany, and so Jan came up to me, the drummer,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "Lord Nelson, I just want to tell you something." I was like, "What's going on, bro?" He said, "You guys made us work so hard every night to come behind you because we were main support for him."
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, he's like, "Oh my gosh," because our thing was just different. And compared to what they got when they come out there, they're doing it. Listen, I love Volbeat, but ours was just different. And so, Rich's energy and Sean and Mike Martin and LSU, as I call him, little Steve Underwood Nails. And then here I am, this big guy just walking the stage and just stalking the stage and just doing what I'm doing. By the third song of every show, and the majority of these people are Volbeat fans. We had our Stuck Mojo people coming in there, but it was Volbeat fans. And man, by that third song, man, we had them. They were just like, oh, they were like, oh, wow. And so that was a magnificent tour. But what I was getting at earlier was when you're talking about people taking things. So we were in the Eastern Bloc of Germany, and we were in Austria once, and I can't remember the other place. Starts with a D with Ectomorph, but this time was with a Volbeat. So we're in the venue, and we're just doing our thing, and there's this guy right there in front of me, he and his wife, and he's just looking at us, and he's just got the worst attitude. I'm sure he had been drinking, but he has the worst attitude, and he's just looking. Everybody else is enjoying themselves, but it's him, and he's just like, his face just screamed, "I hate you guys." And he was over there by on Sean's side, and Sean was just like, "What is wrong with this guy? He's just looking and just, it was crazy." So I came over there, and so we're kind of talking on stage, and Sean's just like, "This dude right here." And so the dude just looks at me, and so we're doing Monster. So something wicked, yo, wake. So I always kind of come at. So I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm going right at him when we start this song. So I got there in his face, and I did not leave him. I stayed there, and I just went, and I just looked like, with my eyes, just like, I'm going to kill you. And he just looked at me like, oh my goodness. He's like, I guess he's looking at me like, oh my goodness, this guy's upset. So you know what he does? He turns away, and he stops looking at me. I started doing that through all the shows, though. I would do that, looking at people. So he turns away, and his wife is just like, I'm sorry. He's just, she's apologizing for him. And I was like, you don't have to apologize for him. And yeah. And so afterwards, he kind of just like, I apologize. I was just like, man, I know he had been drinking, but it just brought out whoever he was. So now that's one time. It was just funny. I was just like, I'm not gonna let you get away with that. He was being an asshole. So we're in this other spot with Ectomorph. So I see these guys all the way in the back. Another show, great show, sold out show. There's some guys all the way in the back, and there possibly could have been skinheads. They were dressed. They had the look. It was a crew of them, and so they were in the back, and so they were just like just looking, and there was just one guy out of the bunch. He's just like pointing and whatever, and so I'm seeing him. So I'm just like, I'll stick my middle finger up to everybody, like, yo, I want them to do it the same thing. Like, fuck this, just into the flow of it.
Yeah.
And so the next thing I know, he's right up front. I'm thinking like, hey, he's a fan, man. He's enjoying this. So he comes right up front, and he gets right in front of me. And now he's pointing at me or whatever like this. And I'm thinking, so I'm doing my thing. So I'm thinking he's into the verse, he's into the music. Once again, I'm a sheltered person. I'm a military kid. I'm thinking everything is all love. I learned some things on the tour. I learned some things. And so I'm just like, yeah, he's into it. So I bend down to like give him the mic, put the mic there so he can,
Right.
sing the song. He grabs my arm. And now I can really see that he's upset. I can see it in his face that he's trying to drag me off the stage. So I snatched my arm back. I was like, get the fuck off me, like that. And so, because I could see it's something different now.
Right.
And so I snatched back. And so right at that moment, here comes the security. Boom! They snatch him up and they took his ass up out of there. Now, yeah, now I'm on edge, right? Now I'm on edge, and now I'm watching everybody. I always watch people, but now I'm in a different place of watching people. And so now I see all these dudes back there, and now I'm really upset. And now I'm just kind of looking at them, and I'm like, I wish one of you guys would start. Now I'm like that. I'm not even that kind of person. I'm just like, yeah, now I'm ready. Now I'm aware. And so I just remember Rich and Zoli saying like, hey man, they're over there having conversation, and I'm still in the green room, because usually after I finish the show, I like to go take a shower, get myself clean, and then come back and talk to the people.
Right.
And and so, because Ectomorph, we were on a co-headlining tour, so it was either they were going to be first or last, or it will be last. So anyway, I'm trying to go to the tour bus to get myself together. They won't let me leave. They're like, no, you got to stay here. Don't go anywhere yet. I'm like, what's the deal? Not even really paying attention that was a bad incident that just happened. So what I do? So I'm still kind of not there, because it was just a crazy moment. So I kind of snuck out and went to the bus, just so I can get out of these, sweating, get out of these clothes. Mm-hmm. But when I walked outside, then I understood. I said, you're not home, man. You're not at home. Because when I walked out there, there was nobody out there. It was quiet. It was just like, wow. So I went, did that. They were like, where? I said, I went, and they was like, listen, man, just trying to be careful, trying to be this or whatever like that. They were trying to look out for me. And then Zoli came to me. He said, thank you for keeping your composure, because he said, we still had more, shows to do. Anything could have happened. That could have turned into something really, really crazy. But I was like, nah, man, I'm not that kind of guy. I said, I don't like people to put their hands on me now, improperly. And I said, now that might take me over the edge, call me Cliff, I'm on the edge,
Right.
But other than that, man, a little thing in another part of Germany, some guy said something racial he said something about Sean being Jewish, about me being black. And yeah, but it was, I didn't know, because he said it in German, but Joey understood, because Joey was Ectomorph's tour manager. Joey understood, and I was just like, because Joey's like, what did he say? And then Sean said,
it's a culture shock for him all of a sudden, man.
No, it was all love. I was just like, man. And so that guy who did that, we were in the Reaper Bond, and a lot of the guys were, let me stop. Let me not say all of that. We were down in the Reaper.
we can talk a little bit afterward.
Yeah. No, it's all love. And so, me, I'm a cornball. I wouldn't do it. I was good. And so I just, once again, here I am. I'm by myself. Everybody else is gone. And here I am, a big black guy in all black. And so I just went to this bar that was right there at the edge. And I just went in there and I sat in there. And so when I walk in there, I see that guy. And he sees me and he's just like, oh my goodness. And I just look at him like, that's the dude from earlier. And so he just kind of looks at me, and then he just says hi, and then he gets the hell on up out of there. And so it's just crazy, but I never let that stuff affect me, because their ignorance is their ignorance. I don't care nothing about it. Don't put your hands on me. We're good to go. You say whatever you want to, but it's not gonna bother me, man. I'm good to go, man.
That didn't inspire your hidden song. Oh, believe me, I know the hidden song. Swing, bada, swing.
Listen, go.
I'm a learned Stuck Mojo guy.
That came when we signed with Napalm.
Yeah.
They wanted 3 extra songs. Rich hit me up. I was like, man, we're good. He said, here's the thing, boom. There we go. We had listen, it was all easy, man. It's all love. Listen, you taking me back, making me feel good, man.
Well, dude, I had it when I originally got the album. I had the
Yeah.
special edition with it. Years
Right.
later, I kept on getting everything with just the 10 songs.
Right.
On the extra 3 songs, but I had like one of them in my head. One, this is how the mojo swings.
Better up, better.
Yeah. Like I said, man, I'll tell you something. You got these punchy lyrics. You do. It's like you and Rich would balance off each other.
Right.
And that's where I said the punchy.
Yes.
That and then Rich. This is how we swing. You know,
Yeah.
and or the fears all around me. That
Oh
one.
man.
You're paranoia is what I got out of that.
Yes, indeed. I wish we had a treatment. We were going to make a video for that. We never did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I love that song when I listen to it. And it's Fears All Around Me is one of those ones. It's a great song.
Yeah. But yeah, I was like, the whole time you were talking about it, I said, swing, better, swing, man. It's like, if you're going to mess with Lord Nelson, this is what probably going to happen. Great guy. But
hey, man.
you come at him all skinhead and shit, he's going to lay your ass out eventually.
Indeed. I don't want any problems, man. Don't want
it ain't about problems.
Just want to come out there and do the music and enjoy the music and have a good time, man. That's all I want to do, man. I want to enjoy myself to the greatest, and prayerfully everybody in the audience is enjoying themselves also. That's where I am.
But yeah, man, it's crossover, and I try to explain. Some people just don't know crossover,
right?
And like I said, you can say Limp Bizkit, whatever, but that's it's blended. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You take a rock singer and a rapper,
yeah.
You put them on different parts, then you got what you call crossover. That's the way it's to me.
I got you.
With the exception, Faith No More, who's in one of my favorite bands.
Love Faith No More, indeed.
The only Mike Patton can be the rapper and the singer.
Right.
So
I was just good. I'm no great singer or whatever, but I know that I could just think about All Alone and certain songs, Superstar and when
Superstar number one.
Right.
Which is dude, I'm gonna tell you, that was such an underrated song.
Listen. The thing is that you're taking me back once again. You give me a lot of goosebumps through this whole thing.
That's what I did,
man. I appreciate it.
I wanted to bring you back to that. That was my whole mind.
I appreciate it. Rich, when that song actually came together, we were just in the studio, and I just had a melody, man. Rich was like, "What other stuff do you have?" I was like, "I got a whole lot of stuff," and he was just like. And I just started singing that melody. So he and Mike Martin, they were like, what key is he in? He's in this, that, boom, boom, boom. The next thing I know, they were playing something. And so Rich said, just give us a little time and we're gonna take that. Because I had the whole lyrics of the song. Just didn't have music from the beginning to the end. And so he was just like, we're gonna do that. And I just want you to do it. And I was just like, wow, man. Wow. And just to watch them as musicians create like that.
Yeah.
On
the fly like that, man.
On the fly, amazing. And I really, got so much more of an appreciation for actual musicians who actually play instruments.
Well, yeah,
you know that it is something. I love music, but that just took me to another level. I could just remember being on stage, watching Rich, watching Mike, watching Sean, or watching LSU or Frank, play those drums, and I'm like, wow. And sometimes, I was like, man, stop watching. Sometimes I had to stop watching because I'm losing my mind. Because I was like, you got a verse coming up here.
Right. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
So you got, the Plastic Catastrophe, which
Lord Nelson, yes.
Lord Nelson coming up. Now, what you got anything coming up here pretty soon?
We have been releasing singles. So the single that's out right now is called Unforgettable. We released Crazy, Unforgettable, what was and Right Here. And so we'll release another one probably till December, and then Next year we'll probably go. We've got so many songs, and we'll see about putting out another album. And Matt's in Texas, and I'm here in South Carolina. So it's not that it's difficult, but we're just trying to figure out what we're going to do as far as if we're going to get out there to tour and do something. Because I do want to get out there and tour with Matt.
Oh, yeah.
He's an amazing musician and an amazing human being. He's one of the great ones. And so I just have some fun when we talk on the phone. We just laugh and clown and have a good time. But it's it's all about the music also. And he's my brother also. So we're really close and it's love. So. Man, I just want to make that be big and as beautiful as it can be.
And of course, I also going to be doing your podcast.
Yeah. And I also have I'm sorry for cutting you off. I also have a younger guy that I'm working with doing some. I did a dance track called Move. Are you ready to dance? Once again, being on tour with Stuck Mojo and Ectomore, we were in Paris. We did a show at the Paradiso. Amazing show, sold out, beautiful, great time. After we finished that show, everybody left. Then they brought in this EDM crowd. Sold out again, packed out.
Wow.
So LSU and we came back after, took our showers and came back. And we just went in there. And we just looked out around and it's just like, man, and that's in Paradiso's in Amsterdam. It's in Amsterdam. So we just looked at all this and I was just like, this is amazing. These kids are really into this music and they were having a ball. And so we were up there with the DJ and I'm like, I said, you know what? When I get back home, I'm going to do some of this. So I created my Lords of House thing and I wanted to bring a whole lot of people into that. But once again, so I just started doing it myself. Say again?
Is it through Bandcamp as well?
I don't know if I have I don't know if that's in Bandcamp. It's out on DistroKid. The latest one is out there everywhere.
Well, and, you send to me and I'll share on the page.
Of course. Yeah. It's just
I'll talk to you a minute if you want to after the show.
Of course. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff out there. So yeah, just I had to do that. It just felt good to me. And once again, I'm a military kid. I've done just so many things, from back in the day to the disco era, all that. I know all of that music, so it means something to me and it motivates and makes me feel good. So I was like, I've got to do some of this. And so I've been enjoying that also. So the young guy, Schizo, who co-produced the song with me, Scream Team Productions, my young brother, man, he's a great dude. He and I are working on a little project also, doing some things, which is cool. And then my son and my wife, it's a song by my son called Parents Proud. My wife and I got on it with him and I did a verse on it. And once again, he got us real, he made us very emotional speaking about, growing up and what he went through and those kind of things. And he was just, shouting us out, bigging us up about, his childhood and how he respects what we've done. And it meant a lot to us. And so he put that song out there. So that song's out there too. Oh, man, listen, man, I'm just out there, man, and just enjoying what I do, man. So I'm thankful and grateful. Indeed.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear. Don't tell it, man. What you got so much going on. It's gonna be. Or Nelson does ABBA.
Listen, one day. Listen, you said ABBA, but DJ Shu, right? She had me on the show and she's got an internet radio station, man. She always says she hates ABBA so much, right? I was like, how can you hate ABBA? She just hates
what I'm saying. I'm sorry, I'm with you on that one, man.
Yeah, she just hates the tone of their voice, man. I just laugh. I said, come on. I said, dance.
I don't care what kind of music you like. Everybody can go back to ABBA. All right.
The Swedes, man. Yes, indeed, man. I love it, man.
Like, come on. I got you.
Yes, sir.
So everybody on my show, check out all the endeavors of Lord Nelson. This guy is all over the place. I'm telling you. You go check out the Stuck Mojo records.
Yes.
Check out the band Lies, the French band. Yeah.
Yes.
And Plastic Catastrophe, which I'm just now got into it. So I'm gonna have to digest it myself, man. So it's like, and then the podcast, man, and 5 Royals.
By Rails ENT.
All kinds. He's getting all kinds of bands out there. Stuff I've never heard of. Really good bands, underground, and
yeah.
Man, I'm gonna tell you out there, we love you, man. Your fans love you.
Thank you very much,
What
bro.
you do, and I'm gonna tell you another thing. Your music, like I said, there was a lot of different stuff going out in between 03, 07, stuff like that.
Right.
You, Rich, all y'all did some inspiring music.
Thank you.
People didn't hear at the time. Okay.
Very much.
And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of soldiers, like I said, I got my tattoo. And sometime for the ladies, I'll show my back tattoo. Declaration of a Headhunter.
Oh, really?
Cross rifle and a Reaper sickle is on my back.
Awesome.
I went my first to Iraq. I got that tattoo right beforehand.
Yes.
Declaration of a Headhunter.
Wow.
Yep.
That's awesome, bro.
So,
that's awesome.
And on the ride home, on the chopper, when I'm at home, there you go. The song Home. And then for a mission, I'm going to tell you, you probably already know the song I listened to for a minute. It's open season.
Listen. So I want to tell you, man, open season, honestly, when they came up to my house, because they drove up here from Atlanta, and they had the song. And so I'm looking at Ed and Sean and Rich, and I think Sean's wife, Jenny, was here also. But they were like, hey, this is what we want to do. And they had, some poetry or whatever that Ed had written. And I'm just looking at them like, guys, you guys are doing a little bit, and I was like, I don't know. I said, that right there might bring more problems than we would ever want. And they were like, no, we're just joking with you. We don't want you to do that. They were just joking with me. They said, but this is what we have. Look at this. Put you in there and let's create this song. So listening to the music, I was just like, man, this music is unbelievable. I was so geeked up I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't. So by the time they got back to Atlanta, it took them a couple of hours, and I was done. I bet I'd already gone through that, and I wrote, and I was just like, okay, he says this here, but this is what I'm saying right here. Put this right here. I was done. I was like, man, whatever you guys, he was like, Rich is like, you're done. I was like, I am done, man. Whenever you guys are ready to record this, we're doing it. And so they came back up here again. And Rich, the part, I see you. Hell yeah, I see you. Motherfucker, nah, I don't want to be you. Rich said, hey, Lord, just hit a freestyle for me. Just do a freestyle. Just hit something. And I was like, okay. So he played that music. And that was just the one take right there. I see you. Hell yeah, I see you. Motherfucker, nah, I don't want to be you. If you come to my place, I drop more than something. That was just a freestyle. One take. And Richard said, he just looked at me like, man, you a lunatic, man. He's just like, I love that. And it's just like, man, it was just something else. But anyway, that's the story of open season, man. Just woo-wee. I hate that they took down the original one, but it's just crazy.
Guys, y'all check us out for the next show. I was a big fanboy on this one, all right? Probably the biggest fanboy you'll ever see me on this show. I'm a little more professional than this, but when you're legitimate a fan, you can't. Oh, man.
You family, bro. You family. Oh. Yes, indeed. Thank you, man. I am so appreciative of this. Makes me feel good, man. It really has. Yes, indeed.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm back.
See, we all have good edit.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into my channel once again. I'd just like to give a special thanks to Scene 4 and my friend Corey Denziger, who will be on the 22nd. Stay tuned.